Right, 15 November 2025, and today I'm excited to be giving you the morning update. Every day I give you these updates so that you know what's happening and you can go through your day with understanding. So let's quickly go through some of the most important stories of today. So the biggest story today is Mnangagwa Geza. Mnangagwa Geza is one of the most newsmakers, the biggest newsmakers of 2025. He has been in the spotlight since the beginning of the year when he started to go up against Mnangagwa to go for a third term. So before all of us knew about it, Mnangagwa Geza was already going up against Mnangagwa. So yesterday, he has, after a long time, tweeted again. And in his tweet, he's explaining that he's not the one who is tweeting in this account called Blessed Geza. So this account has been tweeting in support of Mnangagwa, and particularly yesterday, it says, "I wish to update you on a decision that I've made some weeks ago to resolve all my differences with our party leadership. I had a cordial phone conversation with Mnangagwa yesterday, and after careful consideration, I will contemplate returning to our country." So the proper account called Blessed Geza has revealed that I want to emphasize that this is my official verified account. The account below is peddling falsehoods and is fake. It is pursuing a nefarious agenda. I urge you to ignore it. I remain determined to see the back of ED. He must go, and he will go. So that is the real account of Blessed Geza, and the other account is fake. So Geza is not met with Mnangagwa. We also need to confirm with Nyokayama Bunu on Monday if he has indeed chosen to apologize to Mnangagwa. So these are the two things that we need to look at. Mnangagwa Geza said he will never apologize to Mnangagwa, and I do not know how he's going to implement his plan, but he says his plan is too sound and nothing has changed. So that is what it is right now. Let us quickly go through other news. It's a Saturday. I don't want to keep going. Let's look at some of the most eventful stories that is taking place. Secondly, Gweru has been holding meetings across Zimbabwe, and this week he was in the Midlands. He had a large crowd, so very, very big crowd. Gweru promising people tenders if he wins. So Gweru is creating his own following, and my observation, and this is a political observation, is that Gweru does not have a plan. So what is a plan? A comprehensive plan of what needs to be done in Zimbabwe. So Gweru is still working on the level of giving tenders and also giving money and handouts. So eventually, he needs to get people that are going to assist him with creating a plan. Because as it stands right now, Gweru is just like someone who is coming to the village once in a while and they give you something and then go away. He needs a comprehensive plan if he's going to become a presidential candidate. Otherwise, the way it stands right now, Gweru is not appealing. He's only appealing to people that want something and not to the broader masses. So if there was going to be an election, it would be very difficult for Gweru to get voted into office. So what has happened is that on the 2nd of November, all the chairmen of ZANU PF have reportedly met with Mnangagwa, and Mnangagwa has emphasized once again during that meeting that he's not able to go up to 2030. He's not going to be able to go beyond his limit, which is 2028. So that is what my sources have told me about that meeting, which was held with all the chairmen of ZANU PF. So what they're now doing, if you look at the past week, there's been less talk of 2030 and more of pushing Gweru to the front, making him look like a candidate. So apparently during that meeting at Precabe Farm, Mnangagwa explained that he's not willing to go to 2030. So they would try to talk about it, but we'll see a little bit of slowing down on 2030 and pushing of Gweru. And as I said, Gweru currently not really appealing to the masses. His image is not as clean, and his value proposition is not there. He's not explaining what it is that he's going to offer. People just see him as a billionaire, but what is it that is going to change? That has not been laid out clearly. And as I said, the next few weeks will be very important. Let's see what happens within the next 2 to 3 weeks. Then let's go to Gweru. Peter Dube was convicted yesterday in Bulawayo, and Justice Mutevezi has not yet handed down the sentence. He was convicted for the murder of 2 people. So he killed 2 people in Gweru, Shelton Chiduku and Gamchirai Madungwe. And then he inflicted serious injuries on his second wife, Nyasha Naringo, and his sister, Nyaradzo. So what happened is that Nyaradzo later died from her injuries, and the judge said this case should have been redone because he only faces charges for the murder of the 2 people, not of Nyaradzo. Further, he says the wife, Nometa Chiwawa, is the one that helped him to escape. So she must be facing charges, and currently she is not facing charges. So something is very strange about this case. And the judge has observed correctly that something needs to be done regarding this case. Then Apostle Tabonga Vutabwashe is in Uganda, where he has met with President Yoweri Museveni. You can see them here in the picture. He's doing very well, traveling up and down, and his ministry is growing. So that is very interesting to see that his ministry is growing. And then in business, Econet have produced their results. You can see that the results in ZIG are about 18.5 billion ZIG. So that is the revenue. Currently, the exchange rate in Zimbabwe is at around 40, somewhere there. This means Econet is got about 250 billion in revenue, or somewhere there. Sorry, $250 million in revenue. So that is where they are currently. They are not yet at $1 billion. I don't understand these results in ZIG. I thought Econet was almost $1 billion company. So I don't understand how they can be at around 250 million in revenue. However, they are gaining a lot, with revenue going up 38% and transaction volumes going up 35%. You can go check out that results in all the press in Zimbabwe. And then FBC has produced the trading update, very low revenue at about 2.8 billion ZIG. So I do not know why their revenue is so low. It's crazy. I don't understand how someone can have results in ZIG and results in US dollars. It's confusing. So these companies need to decide whether they do results in ZIG or in US dollars, but that is what we have right now. And then let's quickly look at X. I want to go to a very interesting tweet by, and I think I need to clarify here if this is by David Coulthard or not. So I want to go into this tweet. So this has been reposted by David Coulthard. So I want you guys to see this tweet. If you go to Change Radio, you will see a tweet that has been reposted by this man called David Coulthard, one of the most respected people in Zimbabwe. So let's go to this tweet. You can go and check it out yourself, and let's read what it says. I want to read it here. Sikhala's uncle handed the keys to Tinashe Mpofu, the young brother of Zimbabwean Nigel Swanda, after Mpofu joined the meeting at a later stage. This happened after Mpofu refused to let Sikhala go outside, insisting that he was a respected politician and would not simply walk out in the rain. So a video is done by Channel Africa. According to Sikhala, this is what led to the incident that resulted in his arrest. He claims that ZANU PF is behind the explosives and says Rwanda is working for the regime. Sikhala also said the explosives were ready to explode by the time they were discovered by the police. He also said that it was obvious that the police had been tipped off because they knew exactly where the explosives were as they went straight to search behind the first seat. Sikhala said he's confident the justice system of South Africa is eagerly awaiting for the trial and ultimately the verdict. So the reason why I'm giving you this story is because I don't want to waste time on certain people. So there are people who use other people's names to get views on YouTube. So someone would just say the name, let's say Gambakwe, because he knows that Gambakwe has got a large following. You go and say Gambakwe in a story so that people can click, or they'll put my picture on a story and then they'll say Gambakwe. So from now onwards, I'm going to start suing people. So this week, we're going to sue Umpana Aronzi DJ Holy, because he's just taking my name and pasting it on everything. And we're also going to report him to YouTube for what he's doing. So let's go to point 5 creative and show you what he's done. So we're going to sue him right now because Akupenga. So after Sikhala said his story, he now goes and say Gambakwe, who is friends with the Nigel Shumba, is the one who trapped Sikhala. Nowhere in this story did Sikhala say the name Gambakwe. Just because Gambakwe is known, you can't just go around and lie. Kuti Gambakwe knows Nigel Shumba and so on and so on. People have to be ethical. So we don't want people who just talk garbage online. And we're going to sue him. That last cent that he's got, we're going to get it. So let me show you what he's going to say here.
Creative studios. Right, takambozvitaura before vanhu vakaramba. But right now tauya neumbowo uzere, and munhu akasungisa Job Sikhala recently is the same person akaita kuti comrade nyoka yamabhunu vasungwe, and the name is Nigel Shumba, and Nigel Shumba ishamwari yaGambakwe.
Right, so you can see kuti these guys are taking my name, right? I've already told people in the past, don't just mention people's names in something that they're not involved in. You may think you get more clicks or whatever, but that is not correct to just mention people's names. Nigel Shumba was paying the bills for Job Sikhala. Job Sikhala was being flown from Zimbabwe to South Africa. His team was being flown from Zimbabwe to South Africa by Nigel Shumba. It's their choice to take money from Nigel Shumba. They were not forced to take money from Nigel Shumba. They must take responsibility. So Sikhala and his team, they took money from Nigel Shumba. They were being flown, they were staying in hotels based on this man. Nigel Shumba is from Zimbabwean. He's the man who was paying for their bills. They must take responsibility and carry their cross and not say Gambakwe, whatever. I don't know Nigel Shumba. I've never seen him, and I'm doing my business without involving anyone. So such people, they will have to now answer in court. Kuti, where exactly do they link my name with Nigel Shumba? The person who got Nyoka Yamabhunu arrested could be Nigel Shumba. Nyoka Yamabhunu had money deposited in his account by whoever. This Banda guy deposited money into Nyoka Yamabhunu's account. They must not take money from people they don't know. I will never take money from a person that I've never met. Job Sikhala is responsible for taking money. I talked to Mdara Tema, and he said to me, I told Job, come and stay at home. Why are you going to stay at the hotels? You must come and stay at home. He said that to me. So they mustn't mention anyone's name. And if anyone links me to something that I don't know, I will sue them. And this guy, we're going to sue him right now. Point 5 Creative, Munwa, Nick Mangwana, they used to work together in Harare, and they must carry their cross. If you take someone's money, you can now not turn around and try to blame someone else. As we speak, the guy who wrote the book for Job Sikhala is still in the hotel that was paid by this Banda character. So, if you don't have money, stay at home in Harare or Chitungiza with your family. Don't carry money from people that you don't know. Then you go to lawyers and try to explain and all this kind of stuff. Spanda stays in Sandton. Job Sikhala and Daratema drove towards Pretoria, past Pretoria. And when they met him, I showed you where they had a meeting with these guys. It's almost 45 kilometers from his home. So from Job Sikhala, where he's staying in Midrand, he drove all the way about 40 kilometers to meet someone who stays the opposite direction. What they were doing, I do not know. So they need to explain it. When they explain it, they mustn't add other people's names into it. I'm very disgusted with this kind of behavior. Personal. Personal. Even I'm clean. I am very clean, guys. You can come to me. I have been running my media house since 2010. So what I did is when I was at NAST in 1998, I ran my media house. I graduated 2001. I went into industry. And then in 2010, I went to the United States. When I came back from the United States, I left work and started my media house. So ever since 2010, I've made it a point. I make revenue from my work in media, from my IT companies. That's how I make my revenue. I don't get sponsored by anybody. I've got 2 residences, one in Cape Town, one in Johannesburg, totally self-sufficient. And in a day, to say I'm going to go and beg for money from a person. When we had Nyoka Mabuni in jail, we used money, my own money, over 75,000 on the case of Nyoka Mabuni. And I'm very proud of my record. I don't have any secret dealings with anyone. And these guys, if they took Maria Yashumba, they must carry their cross. Don't go around with you took the money of someone you don't know, and then you had funny meetings. Then you try to put someone in their names. Be clear what you're doing, and stop it. Stop doing this. Strange people. If you meet strange people, your political career will be over. So they must know. Our politicians must be warned. If you take money from people, your political career will be over, and you will no one to blame for that situation. And you see that 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, you see me here because we don't take money from people. However, what you should know about me is that I talk to everybody. There's no person in Zimbabwe that I don't talk to. All the way from guys in ZANU, you have heard me talking about Sean Mnangagwa, you've heard me talking about Vanwa Chambisa. There is not day in a single week that I don't talk to someone at a high level in Zimbabwe, either on the CC side, on the opposition side, on the ZANU PF side. That is my job, to talk to people, so that when I talk to you here, I am not talking theoretical stuff. I talk to so many people, and some of them you don't even believe that I talk to them. And it's obviously something I do because I know that you're all Zimbabweans. Apana, there's no one who's better than other. All Zimbabweans. I'm also a Zimbabwean. I even talk to people like Tagwiri. I will call Tagwiri and WhatsApp him. If he replies, he replies. If he doesn't reply, he doesn't reply. I talk to Chamisa. I WhatsApp him. I talk to people around his team. That is what I do. And I've got no person that I don't talk to. However, I am not involved, or I'm not collecting money from anyone. That must be clear. If I want money, let's say for a court case, I apply it NGOs, just like normal people. I will go to international organizations and I say, guys, we need money for this. I'll go to people that I think can help, but never for my own expenses. Never for me to go and say I want to go and sleep in a hotel. I want a flight to go to such and such a place. You will never ever see me. So, yeah, Job Sikhala is simple. They took money from Nigel Banda. They were not asked. They did it of their own. It was their own free choice. Job Sikhala has been sponsored by Nigel Banda in Zimbabwe. He's been sponsoring him. I don't even know who sponsored the wife's flight from Zimbabwe to South Africa. They must take accountability for this and not lie. So they must be taking accountability. Job Sikhala must take accountability, and they must stop taking money from people they don't know. That is craziness. You can't do that. So that is crazy. Let's go to the newspapers. I now want to go to the newspapers. Pasine vanhu vanoshowa two faces. So double face, one in public, one in private. And then you try to say, oh no, this person did this. You are responsible. Take responsibility for your actions. Right now, let's go to the newspapers. And for sure, if you're taking money from people in ZANU PF, when it comes out in the open, do not be surprised. Right, let's look at the Herald. So President Mnangagwa here. Mnangagwa is starting to look good because of what happened in Tanzania. So President Mnangagwa congratulates his counterpart HH after delivering closing remarks. So well done, President Hakainde Hichilema. One of the best speeches I've ever heard. And his suggestion that there must be no stopping of trucks is amazing. So good job, President Hakainde Hichilema. I like it. Right, now let's go to other stories. Chiwenga was in Botswana. So Chiwenga went to Botswana yesterday, and he was welcomed by Edgar Moyo, Public Service, Labor and Social Welfare Minister over here in Gaborone. And then Opam Chinguri just returned from Algiers. I showed you this story yesterday. And then the story of Peter Dube is over here. So I don't have to read the whole newspaper. You can go and check it out. Amazing newspaper here. It's well done. And then let's look at ZEC, the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission. Mazoe Ward 7 by-election. So names of elected candidates. It is hereby notified in terms of section 125.4 that Lutiro Patience of the Zimbabwe of ZANU has been elected councillor of Ward 7 Mazoe. Is no other candidate nominated. So this is another case where someone has been uncontested. So you can go and check it out over here. So ZANU PF getting more and more seats. And then let's see if there's anything else of interest over here. So I want to check if there's anything of interest here. Nothing. So let's go to other newspapers. And I'm going to particularly start with the South African newspapers. I want to see if the Saturday Star is published. So let's go back over here and check out the Saturday Star. And let's see if they're published for today. So as it stands right now, okay, there we are. I'm looking for the Star, for the Saturday Star. So our Herald is published. And I want to see if the Star has published for Saturday. So on Saturday, most newspapers publish quite late. I've been around Johannesburg, and the city has been cleaned up. So they've cleaned up very well. They've done a good job. Johannesburg is looking very, very clean. I was over there yesterday, and it was amazing for G20. As you are aware, G20 is starting on the 22nd, and the United States is not coming. So there's no United States coming over to South Africa, but the handover is going to be taking place. G20 is now going to be under the presidency of the United States of America. So they're going to do very, very well over there. They cleaned up, they removed all the vendors, and the seats are sparkling. Then let's see if there's another newspapers. I see that none of the newspapers have published. Let's go to our people. And I want to check it out over here. All right, so let's start with who is published that I like. Mini. Let's go to Mini. So what is she saying? Consistency is key. Keep moving. Exercise. So she's showing us the exercises over here. Go check them out. And then let's see Madam Boss. I understand that they are in Cape Town. So Job Preza over here, what is she saying about him? You can go and check it out, and then let's look for pictures. I like to look at pictures. Any makeup artist in Cape Town, plug me, guys. Otherwise, Ndoya, Ndakadai, Mangwana. So if you're a makeup artist in Cape Town, what's up here? Over here, you do a good job. If you give a makeup, your studio will become so big. And then let's look at President Dumaboko. President Dumaboko, one of my favorite presidents in the region. He had a rally yesterday. So United Democratic Umbrella Democratic Change, right? Umbrella for Democratic Change. That is the rally over here. Look at the security here. This is what to do when you're setting up a rally. Look at that security. Very nice security over here. And good job, President Dumaboko. Looking smart as usual. And people love President Dumaboko. Go check out the rally, the actual rally, and to see how he was doing. Look at the way that they dress. This party is so organized. And the color blue is so well. You know that M31 also uses the color blue. And then let's go to President Hakainde Hichilema. After his return, he has posted on Zimbabwe. So today in Harare, we marked an important milestone with an elevation of our BNC. So check out these pictures. Very well done. Amazing stuff. And look at those dances. So that is President Hakainde Hichilema of Zambia and President Mnangagwa, who is not from Zambia. You saw him saying he's not from Zambia yesterday. So Mnangagwa finally explained why he's not from Zambia. Amazing stuff over here. I wish it was longer. I wish President Hakainde Hichilema had stayed in Zimbabwe for more days. And then let's go to SADC. SADC is our regional body. And they said SADC commits to accelerate the development of export-oriented value chains through Africa, trade competitiveness, and market access. So more meetings at SADC. They've got money now, and they're going to do well because they've got more funding from the EU and from many other organizations like the Germans. So finally, they're getting funding. And then let's go to Chidose Nyatwe. Let's see the woman with the best hair in the whole of Zimbabwe. She's got the best hair. Let's see what she's saying right now. Okay, she didn't say anything yesterday. And then we're going to go to X, to our people on X. Let's go to Chamisa, my homeboy, Chamisa. From my village to Chamisa's village, it's only 4 hours walk. Let's see what he's saying over here. Nelson Chamisa, November 18. So that is the last post that he did. And then let's go to First Lady Zimbabwe. That is Auxilia Mnangagwa. Is she posting? Is she there? Is she alive? Where is that girl with the bag? Girl with the bag. So she last posted on November 5. Ariere Mamoyo. Waripi wa Mamoyo. And then let's see Sanyatwe again. Another Sanyatwe. Sanyatwe Anzelam. So I want to see Anzelam Sanyatwe. Jeez. Sanyatwe. Is he still becoming a candidate? Now that Mnangagwa says he's not going to go to 2030. Let's see what is going to happen. So 11 is the last day he posted, and he's not posted thereafter. And then I want to end with the President of Zimbabwe, Mnangagwa. So President of Zimbabwe is automatically verified as a president. Let's see what he's saying. 14 hours ago, I addressed the inaugural biannual commission between Zimbabwe and Zambia. So I want to look at these two presidents, how they express themselves. So there is Mnangagwa showing himself addressing, showing himself hugging Hakainde HH. What else is going on over here? You can see that is Chikomo there, right? I think that's her. I don't know what she does. I've never seen her doing anything. But there she is. So he says, I address the biannual commission. Let's see what Hakainde said. Very interesting to see how these people express themselves. So Hakainde Hichilema is verified. His account is President of Zambia. So I think he didn't post anything on this one. He's more of a Facebook guy than so let's see what he said on Facebook. I want to see how they express themselves, these two presidents. So here he says, so Akainde Ichilema, that is Akainde Ichilema. Very interesting to see how they express themselves. He's got 2 million followers. The most followed president in Africa is Hakainde Ichilema. And he says, today in Zimbabwe, we marked an important milestone. So Mnangagwa says, I addressed. And Hakainde Ichilema says, we marked a milestone. Very interesting to see how they express themselves, the two presidents. So Hakainde Ichilema is looking at it as the two presidents. Mnangagwa is saying, I address. He's seeing himself as a senior to Hakainde Ichilema. That is what it is right now. So where are we? We are at a critical point in our history. We're at a critical point in Zimbabwe. The next 2 weeks are critical because we're going to get a response from Mnangagwa as we've taken him to court, the Constitutional Court. People are going to get exposed. So in this environment, people are going to get exposed. Myself, the place where I stand is very interesting because the young people in Zimbabwe are going to take over from the current generation. The current generation of Mnangagwa and his other people are going to hand over to young people. The question is, what kind of handover are we going to have? Are we going to have the same, more of the same, or are we going to have a bigger change? We've got a problem that our young people are not working together. So one person is over there, Chamisa and his people, Job Sikhala and his people, Tendaibit and his people, Mahere and their people. Gambakwe is doing his own thing this side with the media. And then we've got a bunch of confusion around Tagwiri. Who is Tagwiri? What exactly is it to offer? Tagwiri cannot win an election. I can assure you, Tagwiri cannot win an election in Zimbabwe because an election is not in a party. An election is national. So if you say, let's bring Tagwiri, you won't win an election. Chiwenga, you won't win an election. If you put Chiwenga here and say, have an election, you won't win an election. Chamisa doesn't want to launch. Job Sikhala doesn't want to launch. And we've got a total mess right now. So what we need, as I said before, is to reevaluate where we are. And then the opposition and the ruling party, they need to structure. I believe that this is going to happen ahead of the elections. There's so much noise because ZANU PF is about to lose power. So where we are going right now, there is no permutation under which ZANU PF is going to continue winning. They will lose. They're going to lose power. But when they lose power, there are two things. They can either hand over or not hand over. At the moment, you are seeing Mnangagwa and the people around him preparing not to hand over, preparing not to have an election, not wanting to go to where they're supposed to go, which is in 3 years' time to be out of office. So ZANU PF is going to be out of office. That is if the opposition is properly structured. However, I am totally convinced that we need to reevaluate our opposition. Our opposition is full of pretenders, people that pretend to be opposition. And then they lie. A lot of lies is taking place. And we also have a lot of people that have taken money from ZANU PF. They have been paid, or they are currently being paid by ZANU PF actors. The case in point is this case of Job Sikhala. This is terrible. Job Sikhala was being paid by ZANU PF actors, was walking around pretending to be an opposition member, and yet behind the scenes, he's being paid by ZANU PF officials. So people that are well-known ZANU PF actors are paying Job Sikhala, and he goes and get paid, and then he gets trapped, and then it now becomes other people's problems. Nyoka Mabun is a ZANU PF member. I expect him to be paid by ZANU PF people. So Nyoka Mabun is a ZANU PF member. Geza is a ZANU PF member. I expect them to be paid by ZANU PF people. Nothing wrong with that. But in this particular case of Job Sikhala must come clean regarding Nigel Shumba. No other way of getting out of it. He is responsible for being paid by ZANU PF members. So Job Sikhala is responsible for being paid by ZANU PF members, and it's totally up to him to clear himself up. There is no way out of it. So if these guys come knocking, asking for their money back, what is he gonna do? What is he gonna do now? So the National Democratic Working Group, totally is an ZANU PF project, paid for and delivered. Right, now let's go to the comments. From Gedi to Bikita Minerals is about 40 to 45 kilometers. I thought you were addressing DJ something. Job Apinda Papi. You didn't see. So let's not waste time on this. I don't want to make this about Job Sikhala. Job Sikhala is a big politician in Zimbabwe and outside of Zimbabwe. So he did give an interview to one of the channels. And what I can tell you is, I was one of the first people there. When Job Sikhala was arrested, I was in Johannesburg that particular day. When Ngaruvume posted that Job Sikhala has been arrested, I was about 18 kilometers from the prison where Job Sikhala was, from the police station where Job Sikhala was. So I drove to where Job Sikhala was on the day I was arrested. When I arrived, Job Sikhala had been in jail from around 6 last day on the Thursday, and I arrived around 3. So at that point, no one else had seen Job Sikhala. I arrived there with one of the cousins of Daratema, so we arrived at the same time. And then I then called Job Sikhala and Daratema to come out. The police called them, they came out. I then said, the first day I asked Job Sikhala was, Mkoma, what has happened? Chicha Itiga, who were you meeting with? Job Sikhala looked me in the face and said, I don't know who I was meeting with. I am telling you what he said to me, not to another person. Himself, Job Sikhala, said to me, I don't know who I met with. And yet he knew that he was meeting with this Wanda character. I don't blame him. But the good thing is that I was standing with the daughter of Mdara Tema. She came when I was there. And then she stood on my left. And then she said to me, I know the guy that these guys were meeting. And she gave me Nigel's name. I Googled Nigel's Wanda for her. And then what came out was that he was an activist. So I gave her the contacts or the video. It has been removed now. So there was a demonstration that took place. In fact, it has not been removed. If you type Nigel's Wanda now, you will look at something that says Soul of Africa pickets outside Department of Home Affairs. So that is the video that I gave her. A link with a 29-second video at the Department of Home Affairs. So apparently, these people are known. So if you Google, you'll see them. And then they said to me, Mdara Chema said to me, Job, he didn't know the guy. He has never met the guy. So he said to me, Wakumana, they were working in Umkobana Nunzi Nigel Swanda. And I told him not to go to the hotel, come and stay at home. That's what I told him. And then I said to him, okay, tomorrow I'm going to go and check if there's any footage where these guys met. Because obviously we wanted to see what exactly had transpired at the meeting. There's absolutely no CCTV footage in that place. If where they told me that's where they met is the correct place, there's absolutely no CCTV footage. What was happening, someone was recording them on their phone. So as they were doing whatever they were doing, they were being recorded on a phone, not on CCTV footage. So the question who was recording them, I don't know all this. But all I can tell you is, when I talk to ZANU PF people, so let's say I'm talking to a ZANU PF person, I normally talk to someone in their official capacity. So I can talk to an official Arim government, but you never see me ndichenda to a ZANU PF official and say, give me money to do this and that. When we go to a government official, we go with a program. When we go to a government official, we go with a program. Kuti, pakamera so. Like we had a proposal for media, which I did like 2 or so years ago, where we said, let's set up a media infrastructure for influencers. It was taken to a government official, not to a ZANU PF official. You never see me going to a ZANU PF official or being paid by a ZANU PF official. Aziti. And when you go to ZANU PF official, it's with a specific program. Not good, I want to go and sleep in a hotel, I want to fly and go to this place or that place. There is a specific government or national project which we'll be dealing with. I notice kuti ndipe mari ndiende ndino tamba. And as I said, there are people that lie a lot. Kungotaura zita remunhu Gambakwe this, Gambakwe that, Zidzoro. Zidzoro. Gambakwe. Inini I did my media, I was in 2010. What were you doing in 2010? Wangose kwanza kulaita phone yako. Zidzoro. Mbana DJ Oli. I was tomozi kana kuti chichi notaurwa about someone. You don't just talk nonsense about other people. Everyone is responsible for what they do, not kunyebera one. Okay, so that is it. Totally clean, totally clear. And ndinira nditaurirwe nomwe munhu, ndinotaura ndega. Hapana munhu anonditaurira, ndiripo inini munhu wacho. Kana ndotaura neni, namba dzangu idzi namba dzangu dzirapedzi. You phone me, you talk to me. Not kuenda kunotaura zvekunyeba about me, never. There is no day you will ever see me ndichitaurwa zvisina basa. That is because that's where we need to go. We need to go to a clean country. We need people to say, I am sorry, I messed up. I took money from vanhu veZANU. Not kuti usati clear up. You haven't cleared up the money ZANU yawanga uchitora. You now want to come in front of us again and pretend to be clean. You can't be clean when you've taken mari ZANU. If you have taken, pane vanhu vaiti ye Chamisa akatora mari ZANU, handiti. Ndofuti vari kutora mari ZANU. Vanhu vaiti kwanzi Chamisa akatora mari ZANU. Ndivo vari kutora mari ZANU. Iwe wakatora mari ZANU. Uriti chi? So until you show me Chamisa taking mari ZANU, ndimi vanhu veZANU. Ndimi. Okay, we've covered it. And let's just go back to our headlines. We said Geza has denied that he met with Mnangagwa on the phone and he's not changed his stance. So on Monday, we want to see what Nyoka Mabunu is going to say. If Nyoka Mabunu is going to apologize or not, as has been said last week, that he has said he's going to apologize. Let's see how it's going to go. And we've got an important period ahead of us. So I would like to end it here. I'll be back here around midday. We've got quite a lot to cover regarding the elections in Kulumane and also the M31 in Zimbabwe. I'm going to make an announcement tomorrow. We've got an important announcement to make regarding how we're going to proceed. Regarding our court case against Mnangagwa, which is at the Constitutional Court, we've got an important announcement to make. And remember, Hopo. So I want to mention Hopo. My understanding is that Hopo, when he came to the meeting of the NDWG at Johannesburg, he was also just going there, just like me. They made an announcement that they're going to go to and have a session. So Hopo arrived the same day. I also arrived there, and he appears to me he was not part of the organizers. So I can't say Hopo knows Sibanda or not, and I don't know Sibanda. Hopo doesn't know Sibanda. The people that are there, I don't speak for anyone, but I can assure you that I don't know these characters myself. And I don't think any other person was involved except for Job's team. And I did phone them. So as soon as I left Job's prison, I phoned the guy who wrote Job's book. I think that's called the book that Job is launching all over the country. I phoned him. Ndikamuti, what happened? Why are you guys, who is the guy who's framing Job? And he explained to me this same thing that I'm telling you. So what I will have to say to Anna Job, if they want to be accepted as opposition, they must come out to the people and apologize. Vakadya mari yeZANU. Vanofanirwa kudi kuirutsa. Vakurutsa mari yeZANU. Pasinavo, right now. You are lying. You always say you have reliable sources. ZANU PF, what are you talking about? Didn't I just tell you that I went and saw Job himself? What are you talking about? I went and saw Job. You ran a newspaper kako. Wakamboona Job in prison. Have you ever been to the prison where Job was? Have you ever talked to the people, the family of Mdaratema? Did you talk to Mdaratema? A newspaper kako kanongotora zvanyorwa nevamwe. ZANU PF pasinewe. Inini ndikutaura zvinhu zvandakaona where I went. If I tell you that I talked to Mnangagwa, I won't be telling you zvandakaudzwa. Ndikudza zvandakataura nemunhu wacho. I've got so many people that I talk to. Like, that's why I tell you, I don't say I don't talk to munhu weZANU, I don't talk to munhu wechi. I talk to everyone. DJ Wole anaka na sendi, apana chaunowana. Ndotora mukadzi wake. Mukadzi wa DJ Wole. Uya noswera achiti boxing. Wanzwa DJ Wole. Ndotora mukadzi wako. Kana ndikakusuwa. Ndotora mukadzi wako DJ Wole. Hadzoki. Hadzoki koko. Alright, let's go to our sponsors before I go. DJ Wole chema man. Ndotora mukadzi. Okay. So we have our sponsors there over here. So that is 2 packets. If you are in the UK, if you buy one, you get one free. That's amazing. The only original packets of Mve. If you are in Bulawayo and Harare, it is half price for November, the full of November. Please buy a packet. And it is so good. It's amazing. And we're going to be delivering to you for free if you're in the UK, Scotland and Ireland, and if you are in New Zealand and Australia. Then if you're in Zimbabwe, you have to pick up in Bulawayo or get it by Swift or DHL. So amazing stuff. I love this herb. If you are tired and you drink it, you are like so strong. Muscle dzako dzosimba zvotyisa. Dzosimba zvotyisa. And panofiwa. Unenge uchipisa semoto. Why should I look for useless people? What has Job done for Zimbabwe? Okay, Mdara Danisa, let me explain to you. Mataura imimi kuti you say you've got reliable sources. I can assure you that no media house in Zimbabwe has ever gone to SADC, has ever gone to Zambia, has ever gone to the United States in the past year, including my big media houses. My top investigative journalists. They've never gone to the actual place where Job Sikhala was on the day. I've gone there twice. None of the journalists in Zimbabwe know what they're talking about regarding Job Sikhala's case. They're just writing what they hear. I was in court first day, second day. None of them has ever talked to Job Sikhala's wife, to Job himself. Just kungotaura nje. Kungotaura. Kutaura zabasa. I am different from you. I'm Daradaniza. Don't forget it. Don't forget. Zvese zvemamedia zvaunoona zviringotaura zvokunzwa. So I don't want to kunyeberwa. I'm disgusted by you, DJ Wole. Pasinewe zidzoro. Pasinewe. Plus anakutsamwira futa nabasa newe. Because inini ndiri kwamura mbinda. Iwewe uri kubocha. Kubocha. All right. I'd like to thank all of you for watching. It's been amazing. In fact, I talked 49 minutes. I'm talking longer than Makandiwa. So I'll see you guys later. Let us build our country. Let us be full of love. And we'll do well. If we are not full of love, if we're full of lies, if we're full of deception, we'll end up with no country. You know, Torwa Zimbabwe. Let's work together. And when we go to you and ask people, help us, we're doing it so that we can build our country. But let us be honest and transparent. Everyone knows when I go to them and say, guys, help us with our case, help us to build our country. This is what I mean. We want to be open and clear. And vano nyora pa online imbotuka yoga vana mahere nditukiro vana notora mari zano uyu opo nditukiro vana notora mari zano vana notora mari zano imbo vatuka kuti stop it kutora mari dzezano moya muchinyeba pa public. All right. Vakatukana mahere vanobva vapfeka blanket vopfeka boots. All right. I'd like to thank all of you for watching. It's been amazing. And I'll see you guys later today. And a good day to you all.